I participated in a local webcam event last week, which was pretty casual. It was with Laura's TCG Corner from Belgium. We're a total of 8 players, 3 rounds, best of 3. It was very fun, mostly fun decks and a little bit of competitive. So I decided to play a black leader because I'm gonna play the set 12 Gogeta deck, but I don't have it yet, and I haven't played black leader since Kid-Ku in set 6, I think. So I wanted to catch up, and I love the Xeno Goku art. All the Overwhelm arts are amazing, and I like this leader a lot. So Unawakened, it's a draw 1, take 1 life, self-awakening, and burst 3 cards to the drop, which you need for your Overwhelms. And Awakening, tap 1, draw 1. He's a 15k double striker, which draws a card on attack, and he has an activate main. He doesn't draw a card on attack because he draws from the activate main that says place 4 black battle cards from the warp to your drop. And he also gains 5k power in your turn for every 8 black battle cards you have in the warp. So I like this leader, and the engine is mostly Overwhelm, and we need a unison that complies with that. So we play the Gohan unison SS4. He gains a marker every time you Overwhelm, and he gets a +1 that places 2 battle cards from the warp in drop. And with the -3, we can get 2 cards between 20 and 30k from the warp to your hand, and he gets dual attack 15k, so he becomes a 20k dual attack beater. Very handy. As set 12 came along, I fell in love with this card, the 1-drop Goku that has Deflect. It takes a life, gets a 15k for a turn. It has an auto that when your opponent counters any time when it's on the field, once per turn they drop a card to the warp. If there's 2 on the board, they warp 2. If there's 4 on the board, they warp 4. So it's awesome. It's an awesome card. Yeah, it has Deflect, and so it's pretty safe. And if they get rid of it, they get rid of it. It's okay, but I like it on the field. I play 3 Dark Power Black Mass Saints for the obvious reason of decks that spam a lot of free stuff. They get punished for it, and it's also a Self-Awakener if I need it. And then the final 1-drop is 3 Goku making an entrance, negates, which I can recycle with my Power Burst, and it's also an evolved target for a beast that is coming. I play 2 Boos. It's very good in this deck because I can recycle it with my leader pretty much every turn. If it's in the warp, I can get it in the drop with my leader's effect for a card, and then I can put it back for 1 energy in the warp and draw 2 cards more. It's very, very, very valuable. And the evolved target for my 1-drop Gokus is this Son Goku 5-drop double strike. It's an activate main that also puts 4 cards from my warp in my drop. Don't really need it as much, but it's a 1 energy double strike 25k. That preferably goes on my negate, which is pretty cool. Super combo is my Vegeta. If all your energy is black, you draw 2 cards, you bottom deck 1. Yeah, it's a pretty good black super combo. Then for the Overwhelm package, we have 4 Trunks, Time Regulator. When you Overwhelm for 3, so you can basically do this turn 1, you attack with your leader, you burst 3, then you can Overwhelm this on your first turn. You draw 2, you warp 1 card from your hand, so you filter out cards that you don't need, and then you get the attack. And later on we get to draw from our Bardock Overwhelm, draw 2, drop 1, 20k beater, nothing wrong with it, pretty good. If you want to take a more aggressive approach, we have Man on a Mission. Son Goku, for pressure, and it's just a lot of good double strike crit. You can never go wrong with it. If you want removal, we play Secret Identity Mass Saiyan. Gets rid of pretty much everything that's 6 or less. Not ignoring barrier, that's okay, but we have something else for that. But for spam little monsters that are on the field, it's pretty good overwhelm. I play the Vegeta for a barrier removal. It costs 2 energy, overwhelm 6. It's all overwhelm 6, so you need 6 cards in the drop, which is achievable every turn with the leader and the unison. So you get to warp something, ignoring barrier, and you draw 1 card. It's pretty good. For defense, I play the Bardock, overwhelm 6 for 1 energy. If you play this, next turn your opponent can only attack with 1 battle card. So you've already set them back in your own turn for their next turn. It's pretty good. Came in a lot at the tournament. For retrieval, we play Goku Beyond All Limits. It's a promo. If you overwhelm this for 6, it's free. 30k. You can get anything back from, let me check, between 3 and 7 level from your warp. So you can get back pretty much anything from your warp to use again. And for the cards that you don't get back, we play 1 Trunks that overwhelms for 2. It's a double striker, but he can get back anything from the warp. Then for our boss monsters, we have Super Saiyan 4 Bardock, Combat Instincts. It's overwhelm and 3 energy paying. It has dual attack, 30k. You can pick 2 cards from your opponent's hand and send them to the warp. And then it comes 2 times, so it's pretty good, decent finisher. And because we overwhelm so much and we warp so much, this Mira is unstoppable in this deck. It gets boosted a lot, and it's a great finisher. And my last battle card is the Secret Kai of Time. It's one of the best secrets in the game right now. When you activate battle in your own turn or in your opponent's turn for 1 energy, you can play it. If you play it, your opponent can't attack with leader cards or unison cards for the turn. And then in your own turn, you have an activate main for 1 energy. You warp this card, you warp your opponent's battle cards, unison cards, pretty much anything except field cards. So you clear the board and you can start over again. You can get rid of unisons that are problematic, you can get rid of battle cards. Doesn't ignore barrier, which is a shame, but you know, the biggest threats are mostly the unisons in this meta. And then we play 4 Power Bursts. It's a good negate, sparking, and it retrieves our 1-drop Gokus, our 1-drop Black Mass Saiyans, the negates. It's you know, you switch it in for another negate. It's pretty good. 2 instant transmission Kamehamehas. When you negate with it, you can put back 2 energies from your warp to the drop. So if you're at, let's say, sparking 3 and you need sparking 5 because you're tapped out, you can activate it, put 2 back, you have sparking 5, this negate is live. It's pretty okay. And then for 1 energy you can retrieve it, but you have to discard 2, so I never use that. And the last card is Max Power Kamehameha. It's besides being a decent negate, it's also removal, warping, anything that's bigger than your opponent's energy, they get punished. And so that's the main deck. It's 55 cards, I believe, because you burst a lot. You know, I see a lot of my deck and I almost deck out in one match. So 55 is pretty good. I think it's maybe a little bit much, but you see pretty much all your pieces at the time you need it, because it's either in the drop or the warp where you can retrieve it. I have a side deck which I barely used, maybe once. I played 2 Overwhelm Bardocks, Fury and Unleashed. It's an Overwhelm that gets rid of every 5 drop or higher, 6 drop or higher on the field if you play it, which in this meta is a lot of cards. 2 1-drop Kamis, play it, draw a card, then pay 2 energy to get rid of anything with 4 or less ignoring barrier. So that's pretty okay. I play a side and extra max power if I come into a lot of aggro or a lot of red Brolys or dark Brolys. I play 2 Rebellion Hammers in the side if my opponent is red and they have topos, or blue and they have counter attack trunks or anything 4 or less they want to play, they warp it instead. And because I have so much cards in the warp, I play it for 1 instead of 2, because it says that when you have 12 or more cards in the warp, you reduce the cost by 1, which I get to pretty easily. 2 Mechikobora Broken Seals. When you play this, you call out a name, you call out a power level. Your opponent can't play that card for the next turn. It's used a lot in team decks like Dark Broly, Red Broly. You mostly know which beast they want to go to, so you call it, they can't play it, they have to work around it. It's a pretty good turn. 1 extra Vegeta for barrier removal, and 2 Protector of the People. It's a good negate. When you negate with it, you negate the attack. You drop 1 card. Every time your opponent attacks your leader from that point on with battle cards, they get 5k. Your leader gets 5k for every attack. So, yeah, can stop a little. It's like Senzu Bean in that way, but you know, bigger.
Yeah, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. And Brainwash No More, Mass Saiyan. I side this in because decks like Majin Vegeta or Reboot Gohan, Triple Strikers, Double Strikers, they tend to finish you at 3 or 2 lives. So if I have an energy open, they swing with a Double Strike or a Triple Strike. I drop this, pay 1 energy, I crit 1 life, and then I don't take damage. So you know, easy escape for Reboot Gohan or anything else. 1 extra Bardock Overwhelm for, you know, aggressive decks that you really don't want to go fast on. One thing I forgot to mention is when you play this card, the next turn you can't play it. So, you know, you do it once, then the next turn you can't do it, because otherwise, you know, it's pretty broken. And 1 Super Kamehameha, it's pretty much the same as Rebellion Hammer, except you can take a life instead of paying energy for it. It's pretty good. So, this was my deck profile. My matchups, I think, were OG Broly, which ended in a draw. And then I played against Red Gogeta, which was pretty good matchup for me because I had a lot of barrier removal and a lot of removal in general. So when they play the Gogeta, it doesn't stick around very long. And the last match was a very fun match with a fellow Dutchman, Diego. He's played Hand Destruction Announcer, and it was very, very close every game, but I managed to take the win and got first place. And didn't expect it, but yeah, didn't put a lot of work. So thanks for watching. Please leave a like, leave a subscribe, and tell me what you think. And see you next time.